Hello, everyone. I tried to start this a little less creepily by instead of saying hello, I said hello, everyone, like I'm normal and not an ink crazed lunatic. Hello, Ralph. Hello. See that now when I see you write hello like that, that's what I'm picturing. Is someone saying hello? Sorry, I expressed my excitement too much in that hello. Hello, everyone. I'm pretty excited that there's anyone even here because I kind of thought everybody would be out Black Friday shopping or online Black Friday shopping or, trying to make it to Black Friday shopping or, you get the picture. Hello, Mr. Eric. So, nothing wrong with being an inked crazed lunatic. That depends on whether you are the inked crazed lunatic or someone in the same room as the inked crazed lunatic. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Thank you all for joining. Here is what I have today. We have the Clairefontaine notebook. This is the 1951. They are kind of like a vintage style. They have a textured cover. This is a staple bound book. Nice size. This is the lined version. It does not lie flat unless you kind of press it down, but once you do that, it works. So not terrible. And of course, fountain pen friendly paper on the smoother side. So if you have a very smooth nib or a nib that's a bit finicky, you might find it a little skippy on here. But if you're just using a well-tuned nib, you shouldn't have any issues with it. Longer drying times, but definitely fountain pen friendly. So that is the notebook. This is me. The pen, we are using the Lamy LX in, sorry, this is the rose gold version. I don't know if you could tell that it's rose gold in the light. It kind of looks just gold. It's overcast and gloomy, so I'm struggling with the lighting today. I probably need like 10 more lights behind me. But anyway, I have it equipped with a 1.9, I think it was 1.9 millimeter calligraphy nib from Lamy. Usually it comes with a black nib, but of course you could just pick up an additional replacement nib and it's great. It makes it a lot more versatile because I like to use these for daily use, but also for calligraphy practice and stuff. And the ink that we have that I thought this would be fun because it's like sort of festive because of the silver. But anyway, this is the new Jacques Herbin 1798 ink. This is the Amethyste Lural. So this is the first one in this series. It is not one of the anniversary inks, but it does have shimmer. So they say it's kind of hard to read in the light because it's reflective, but it's illuminé de paillettes d'argent, and in English it says silver sheen enhanced ink. So this is, before I ink it and show it, this is the 1670 anniversary ink series, and this is the 1798 ink series. I'll just show you the bottles quickly because they have changed the bottles for the new series here. Okay. I'll leave these here and scroll back because I saw a couple questions. Let me see. How hard is it to not spend anything at Sakura Fountain Pen Gallery? It is very hard. I have spent every time I have gone there. It's very scary. Okay. So they're both glass bottles. They are both 50 mils, but the difference, they both have the wax seal, the cute little thing. Although I do prefer this cordage to this one, but that's okay. You could see that the mouth is wider and larger. One of the issues that a lot of people have with the 1670 lineup is that the mouth of the bottle is quite small. And so if you have a larger pen, actually even some normal, like mid-size, full-size pens are hard to fit in there. So there you go. They're a bit bigger. That's great. Makes it easier to ink from. And I appreciate that. They're both the same price, both $26. And there you go. Let me just show you the bottom so you can see that they both still have the, like this is the original, and this is got some silver in there. Scrolling back. Yay, first time watching the live videos. Thank you for joining, and it's very exciting. We have a wild time here. I basically talk to myself, and it's wonderful. It's kind of like my usual day anyway. Okay, so I just wanted to show you those quickly because a lot of people ask about the differences and, you know, they wonder about the new name and stuff. So this is the new series, and it's sticking around. So you don't have to panic and buy 1,000 bottles like I did when they originally released the Rouge Hématite. So here we go. I have that. I'm gonna move it there or here. Hello to Austin, Texas. Okay. Yeah, the lighting is just really, really gloomy and grim today. I'm going to actually unpost that. Okay, let's write a little. Hello. You all know I love writing hello. Or actually, hello. Something like that. The notebook is a Clairefontaine 1951. It's like staple bound, cloth bound thing stuff. The ink is, no, it's not Herbin, it's Jacques Herbin 1798. And this handwriting is absolutely hideous, but I'm distracted by trying to also look at the screen at the same time. So there we go. And is it a blunt nib? Yes, it is. This is the 1.9 millimeter Lamy calligraphy nib. So I'm just going to write, this is the Lamy LX, and this is the 1.9 millimeter. So it is a stub, not an italic, so it's quite smooth on the corners, but still gives you some nice line variation, as you can see. Okay, what do I usually write? Oh, I write nonsense. That's exciting. Well, since it's Black Friday and you guys are here instead of shopping, I will write Black Friday. Such excitement. Unless you're going Black Friday shopping after this, or unless you're like in the mall waiting out the horror crowds. Horror crowds. That didn't sound right. Lighting is pretty good. Okay. It's kind of dark like back here. I'm doing my best to make sure it's all legible. Okay. So let me just play with the ink a little. Now, this ink is quite saturated. And what that means, if you don't know, is that it's when you put it in your pen, you might want to make sure, like sometimes if I'm using an ink and I re-ink my pen a couple times with the same color, I won't wash it in between. But with this, I would be sure to flush it out of your pen and stuff to make sure it, because of the particles, you don't want it to stick in your pen. And if you're using it with like an extra fine or something, you're probably going to have a dry flow. Okay, wait, there's a couple questions. Let me scroll back. How does this nib compare to music nibs by Sailor or Platinum? Would the ink look different with those versus this nib? The Sailor and Platinum nibs, if you look at it like this, the music nibs, if you look at it like tip on, you're going to find, I'm just going to write Sailor and Platinum. You will find it's more like this. Whereas, and there's like the slit down the middle, but if you're looking at the Lamy nib here, sorry, I'm shaking because I keep bumping into my camera. You will find it's more like that, the slit down the middle. So the music nibs are more rounded, they are thicker and not necessarily wider because this is 1.9 millimeters, and the Lamy nib it's like flatter with slightly more crisp edges. Would the ink look different with those versus this nib? It kind of depends on the ink. The Sailor nibs might give you a bit more pooling at the bottom of your letters. So like down there, the ink will pool a bit more. Whereas with this, it just pools right at the edge. But if you're using a darker ink, you're probably not going to notice much of a difference. And there's, of course, a big price difference between the Lamy calligraphy nib and a Sailor or Platinum music nib. Speaking of stubs, you just purchased your first stub and you can't seem to get the hang of writing with it. Is there some kind of trick? The first thing to do to get the hang of it before you really, to get to know the nib, I would try to write with the shape of the stub aligned with the page. So try not to rotate it. This one works quite well rotated, but some stub nibs don't. So try to keep it lined up with the page so that you're straight on. So like that, instead of rotated either way. If that doesn't help, I would try flushing out your pen with some dilute dish soap water and then flush it clear with just regular water. And that can also help a bit. Let's see. Next week, Complete Darkness and Noodlers, Blue Ghost, and Black Light. Yes, I think that's a great idea. That would be hilarious. Okay, now, another thing with this ink that you will probably find is it's quite saturated and it feels lubricated. So even in Clairefontaine paper, which is very fountain pen friendly, there is some bleed through, as you can see. This is a bit of a wet writer. So just be prepared for that. It's not terrible. I actually think you could still use the backside if you're just like taking notes or, journaling or scribbling, but that might be something that might bother you. It depends. Okay, so I've rambled and answered a bunch of questions and I haven't actually showed you the ink yet. Let me just catch up with all the comments here. Okay, let us play with the ink. The reason I like the coiled notebooks on camera here is because then it's easier to write. So I'm just going to write on this side. I have tried the Lamy Ion. It's very interesting. I really like the olive silver one. The black one's interesting too, but I just feel like the color is more fun. But I prefer the Safari. Just for my hands, because the Ion it's much larger for me and it's a bit wider, but I just prefer the grip and comfort of the Safari or the LX or the All-Star. Okay, so I just smeared a bit of the ink around just so we can take a look at it. It's not interesting in a bad, it's not bad interesting. It is, so like the Safari and the LX is more shaped like, oh, this is a terrible drawing, is more like that, but the Ion is more like that. It's more like the 2000, like the Lamy 2000 shape, and I prefer this shape. Yeah, more like the 2000, yeah. Okay, I was going to show you how pretty the ink is. So, there you go. You do get some shading, but you can see the silver particles, lots of sheen, lots of silver going on there. It's a really fun ink. This might not be an ink you want to, go to your meeting with or something, go into a meeting with or something. It depends on where you work. But I think it's a beautiful ink, very festive because of the silver. It's very pretty, great for flourishing, great for journaling. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, if you just like to play around with inks, it's a really fun ink. And the bottle is very pretty, isn't it? I like this base with the chunk of glass there. So it looks more like an inkwell, and if you are familiar with the old Cavendish bottles, they're kind of like this, but smaller. Would I put this ink in an expensive pen? It depends on the pen. I would probably only put it in a cartridge or converter pen that I could open up and flush out well, just in case I had to get all the particles out. So I would put it in something like one of my Sailors or a Platinum, but I would probably not put it in a Pelican with the piston because I don't want any particles to, stick around the piston. So, hello. Hello. Look how cute these little drawings are. They came out so good. You've gotten a Diamine shimmering ink but never use it because you don't want the fuss of cleaning it out. I wouldn't worry too much about it. They're pretty well behaved, and if you don't just leave your pen and let it dry out and let the ink stay in there for weeks or something, you won't have any issues. And I use them. I have quite a few of them, and I use them quite often as well. And I just practice proper pen hygiene. You know, I just make sure to clean it out after every time I use it. So it's I think it's worth the effort. Does this ink get very much lighter when in a fine nib? Well, what I can do, I will just rotate the pen and use it for reverse writing or upside down writing. Hello, upside down. It's still a bit wetter. It's slightly lighter, but I think because it's already a fairly dark ink, it's not going to come out very light. So I don't know if you want it to come out very light. Very light. Oh, hello. Not as representative, of course, as if I had used an actual fine. But in these lines, let's take a look at that. Yeah, it's still pretty dark. How does the bottle open? Will the wax of the cap crack? No, they have adjusted it now because I know the original 1670 series, like the wax was all down the bottle, all down the mouth, but now it's just on the lid. So safe to open up completely. Thank you for joining. We'll see you later. How watery is it? The anniversary inks and the 1798 series is not very watery, but it is quite, it is fairly wet, I would say. It has good flow. Yes. Hello. Oh, look at this hideous handwriting. Okay, now should I write something pretty? Probably. Maybe I shouldn't have called it pretty because now I have to try and make it pretty. I'm trying to remember how to do a capital A here. Something like this and like that. Don't laugh at my process. I'm trying to figure it out. May. Oh. I'm like, okay, wait, how do I spell this? I forgot. Okay. Look, it can happen. You can forget these things when you're trying to focus on forming your letters. Amethyste. Nice stuff. Yeah, I think that like this pen combination for me is fantastic. This pen was a gift from someone very special, and I absolutely love it. And I had like convinced myself, I was like, oh, I don't need it because I already have a Safari, blah, blah, blah. But I'm really glad I have it. Calligraphy is like making sausage. You only want to see the result. Yes, I like that. Let me see. We can also do a rounded, like more of a foundational type. Oh, I always have trouble with the S. That's not too bad, right? That's like legible enough. From whom? From whom did I receive my Lamy? I got my Lamy from one singular Mr. Eric. Is the LX silky to the touch? Yes, it is like the All-Star series, which are like anodized aluminum or some sort of coated aluminum. And this is the same thing. So yes, people wonder like, oh, is it not the same as the All-Star? It has the same type of body. It's just you're looking at a different clip. The jewels, the black nib, but also a really cool package. Like it's like a cylinder that matches your pen. That's my ramble. I have rambled. This Eric seems like a nice person. Yes, he is. Hello. Anyway, I have rambled sufficiently, probably, and you probably all want to hit your Black Friday shopping and buying things if you want. But there we go. So we have the Lamy LX, we have the Clairefontaine 1951 notebook, and we have the Jacques Herbin 1798 Amethyste de l'Ural. Yay! Thank you all for joining, especially on a Friday that's supposed to be so wild. It is wild over here, though. Can't you see? You see the wildness. And have a great weekend. Where do you buy this? We carry this at Anderson Pens. So I'll include links afterwards. Or you can head over to andersonpens.com and just type in Amethyste de l'Ural and you will find it. Okay. Thanks so much, everyone. Catch you next time.